Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tanya and welcome to week 5 of my pregnancy weekly journey, where I share week-to-week updates of my journey as we progress from the start to the very end of my pregnancy. So we've just come to the end of week 5 and I would say that the majority of symptoms have really kicked in this week. I think the biggest one was the exhaustion. I was just so tired and I didn't even do anything. I was exhausted. I kept complaining to George. I was just like, my head, I was drained and I just couldn't understand, and it took a while to actually click. I was like, wait a second, this is definitely a solid symptom, a common symptom that I've actually read, and I really felt it. But I think as I continued to eat throughout the day, I would say later in the afternoon I woke up a bit. I was willing to take a nap. I think George kept saying to me, sit down, just take a nap, but I'm not really much of a napper anyway, so I would only opt for a nap if I was literally falling asleep. But I wasn't, I was just So as I said earlier in the day, early afternoon, it was the worst, and then it kind of dimmed down towards the end of the day and I sort of livened up a bit. I would say that's the only day that I had the worst exhaustion. I think after that, what I did also notice was my usual activities, like going for a walk with the dog or doing a bit of exercise or even just cleaning up for a bit. I found that I was getting more tired quicker and I needed to take more breaks. I am really starting to see my tiredness does kick in a lot more, and I think they say a lot of progress happens with the baby at week 5. I think they're developing their brain, they're developing vital organs, so it's really taking its toll on your body. So I've definitely noticed that. The urination, I would say, is probably the same as it was the first week. It's not got worse or better. I usually get up once in the night to wee and then a good few times in the day, but yeah, that's not actually changed from the first week. Another funny symptom that I experienced this week was my first food aversion, and I am so shocked because it was with peanut butter, which I am literally obsessed with, to the point where I would spoonful out of the tub. And then the other day I was eating it with an apple, and as I was chewing, it just got to the point where I was like, ugh. And then the next day, the thought of eating peanut butter just made me feel sick. Again, I didn't even realize that was a symptom until I thought about it, and I was like, oh my God, this is the aversion they're talking about. I really understand it. And I was devastated because it is one of my favorite foods. But yeah, literally now the thought of peanut butter definitely makes me sick. So that's another symptom I've experienced. Midweek I started to get a cold, so I think that really took its toll on me. I felt a lot more tired, a lot more drained. That recovered okay, but then what I've still noticed is that I have a blocked and stuffy nose, and I need to blow my nose a lot more and sneeze so much. But I feel overall okay, it's just my nose. So George actually Googled it, and there's this thing called pregnancy rhinitis, but that apparently suggests that the mucus that you produce in your congestion zone, I'm no doctor, so don't quote me on my phrases, but it can actually increase as your hormone levels change. So that's really weird because I've basically just experienced this stuffy nose, and whether this is a common symptom or not, I mean, I've never heard of it. We just randomly Googled it because any little thing we experience, we just Google just to see if it's something related or something completely off, and that happened to come up. So I'm interested to see if that continues, because apparently pregnancy rhinitis can continue for the whole pregnancy up until birth. So I mean, I'm hoping that it's not, because at night sometimes it literally is so frustrating, especially when I don't feel ill anyway, but you find that when you have a blocked nose, you just feel like you're actually ill. So I'll be interested to see if that lasts, or if by the time we get to next week it's done and it was maybe just a backing to my cold. Who knows? But I thought I'd share that with you because it's one of the funniest symptoms that I think we've experienced. Also, another thing when it comes to food is I have discovered hunger cramps. It took me a while to actually understand this, but if I let myself go hungry, maybe just like eating lunch a little bit later or thinking that my breakfast has filled me up a little bit longer, I literally start to get cramps that feel like period pains. I think the first time I got it, I was quite worried because the cramps were so sharp, and then it was only when I ate that literally, even during the food, they just started to fade away. And then it happened again, and I've realized now that I can't let myself go hungry. And obviously that is an obvious one when it comes to pregnancy. You need to make sure that your body is full of nutrients. But sometimes when you're busy on the go, you have to realize that where you're not pregnant and you just kind of get on with it sometimes and you eat when you can and you just deal with it, when it comes to pregnancy, you need to preempt it. And I need to always have something with me, a snack, anything, and just make sure that, I'm eating more frequently. So what I'm trying to do is maybe space out my meals 2 to 3 hours apart, and I've had an extra meal added in. So after dinner, I'll say have some cereal or have some yogurt with fruits, nuts, just something to keep me going so that there's always food intakes happening, because those cramps cramps are painful and literally feel like your period. So that's an interesting one. So just a heads up, make sure that you do eat frequently. So that's been my week 5. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I look forward to updating you with new and exciting symptoms and any changes that happen in week 6. Take care. Bye.